Hey guys, and welcome back to another week with me. I'm so glad to be back with you guys as usual. So today I thought it would be fun to learn all about Betty Crocker. So I actually did some research and found out quite a few things that might surprise you. I think a lot of people have assumptions about Betty Crocker. So hopefully that you will definitely enjoy this video today and hopefully you can learn something new. So the story is pretty cool. It's kind of lengthy, but bear with me because it's a really awesome story, okay? So in 1921, so you may have heard of the Gold Medal Flour Company. So they always have the gold medal on the flour. I know I walk by it in the grocery store all the time. So the Gold Medal Flour Company offered a pin cushion, okay? So they put this ad out to the public and they said, if you are able to do this jigsaw puzzle of a mill over like a whole milling scene, if you know anything about milling places, there's lots of machinery and lots of moving parts and things that do all kinds of different things. So what they proposed was if somebody in the public could put together this puzzle, they would give out these pin cushions shaped like flour sacks, okay? So that was just kind of the appeal. So the Gold Medal Flour Company, they actually were owned by the Washburn Crosby Company. So this Washburn Crosby Company, they're actually two brothers. The one brother, he actually bought this company and decided, hey, I'm going to bring my other brother into this and we're going to run this company together. So they wanted to pretty much just get the word out about their company. They just wanted to find a savvy way to advertise, right? So their company is no longer actually called the Washburn Crosby Company. It is a lot more familiar today, probably by the names of General Mills. So General Mills and the Gold Medal Flour Company kind of go hand in hand. So yes, they put out this competition, right? They just kind of put this challenge out just to kind of get their name out there, to get people kind of thinking about their products from their mill. So thousands of people actually responded to this ad, okay? Doing these puzzles and trying to get these pin cushions. It kind of sparked a whole new interest in cooking and baking and the proper way to do that. So these two guys, right? Remember, they're two brothers. They decided, well, we have to address these people somehow, okay? So the question remains, what do you actually know about Betty Crocker, the person? Like, who is this woman that has become the face of this large company that is still really big today? A lot of people might have her biscuit mix, or even her cookie mix or her cake mixes in their cupboard as we speak, right? So the name Betty Crocker was actually created. So that's the catch. Betty Crocker is not an actual person, and she never was. Well, to say. So Betty Crocker, what actually happened is they used the last name Crocker. Okay, so there was a man that was within the company. He was high up in the company. He ran the company for many years. His family was always associated with the milling industry and everything like that. Not only had he been working in the industry for a long time, he was a really likable guy. People really liked him. So they decided to give this woman the last name Crocker, okay? And they decided to actually name her Betty. The reason why they named her Betty was because they said it sounded like a friendly enough name. So here we are, right? We have all these people writing into these two brothers, and they wanted to make it seem more personal. So they actually created this woman named Betty Crocker. So they actually made kind of like this proposal to all of their employees, right? They had some women employees there, and they said, if you would like to come and sign the name of Betty Crocker, we're looking for someone to do her official signature. So they wanted someone to sit basically and to sign, you know, all of these things with her signature to make it seem like she was a real person giving real advice and real feedback, right? Because people want to know what's so great about this flour and how can I even use it, right? It's kind of a funny thing to think about because nowadays there are so many uses for flour, and I could just name 5 off the top of my head. So it's kind of an odd concept to me that these people, by the thousands, were asking what to do with flour. What can we use flour for? Okay, so if you ever actually look at the Betty Crocker signature, that is the original signature of an employee that signed the Betty Crocker name, and they actually stuck with it. So it's not the prettiest or the neatest, but they think that it was the most sincere and looked the most real and more personal. So the company was really working hard just to make a name for themselves. So obviously, just like companies today, right, we have tons of things for advertising. We do things on TV and radio, billboards, everywhere you look, there's advertisement, right? So they thought, okay, that was wonderful. What else can we do to just kind of get people talking about our company? So what they did is they wanted to work on showing their good customer service. And not only that, they wanted to show people that, hey, not only do we have a flashy logo and some cool things going on, but we actually have a good quality product, right? Kind of cool. So the company actually started to sponsor cooking schools across the entire country. So they employed home workers, or most times in those days, women that were home taking care of children. Typically women were in the home at that time. So they would actually pay these women to test out all these kinds of recipes and to basically see what the flour is best for, how much to use, and to just prove indeed it's a quality flour. So remember, this is the gold medal company, right? The gold medal flour company. So this was not only a way to show, hey, real people are using this, we're getting real results. They were also reaching out to mothers that are home with their children and saying, hey, you're cooking on a daily basis for your family. How would you like to be paid to cook to use our products? Pretty awesome, right? I would definitely do it. So by the end of this, it kind of made this like whole demand for baking information and just kind of took off baking as like a hobby almost. I mean, it just kind of skyrocketed. Women suddenly were very interested in doing baked goods. Really, this was because of the advice given out by who they thought was Betty Crocker. So this actually drew so much attention. They were able to employ 21 what they called home economics. I'm struggling to say that word. But what it means is they actually gave these women that they're paying to cook and use their products in their own home. And they were actually able to employ 21 women, which is pretty awesome. So it was the beginning of their home service department. So that's what they called these ladies that are working from their home. They called it their home service department. And they were known as the Betty Crocker kitchens, okay? These ladies that get paid to use the products and to make these foods, they became known as Betty Crocker kitchens, okay? These 21 employed home economics. It's okay if you laugh. I have a hard time pronouncing that word. Okay, so as time went by, Betty became more personal yet. So fast forward to 1924, Betty found her voice, right? Because people had all these questions. You know, who is Betty? And they actually found joy in cooking because of this Betty Crocker's advice, right? So what happened is these two brothers that originally owned the mill, the Gold Ribbon Flour Company, okay, there was actually a local radio station that ended up going bankrupt, and they wanted to help this man. So what they did was they bought this radio station from this local guy. It was going under. They were going to go bankrupt and close its doors. So they renamed their radio station with the acronym WCCO, okay? So the company aired its first radio cooking show, and Betty was the star. So they took it a step farther, okay? So they used to actually do these cooking classes that you could do, right? So they had this grand idea that we are going to reach way more people. We are going to put Betty Crocker on the radio and everyone's going to listen. Because remember, in those days, kids couldn't wait to listen to the radio programs on the radio. just like everything else before TV. Everything was kind of radio entertainment. So that was a really kind of exciting thing for these two brothers, right? These two brothers that decided to open up a business and take a chance. It's going pretty well. So the company actually did really well airing their radio show, and they actually called it the Betty Crocker's Cooking School of the Air. And it was an extreme hit. When I say people super enjoyed this radio station, I mean they really enjoyed it. So they actually had a first class. So they had women actually enroll in this class, even though it was over the radio. And I believe it was over 224 women, I believe, anywhere aging from 16, with the oldest participant or student being 82 years old, right? So it didn't matter how old you were, how young you were. This was really a big interest of the time. So because this online schooling or cooking show went so well, they actually went on to buy, I believe, 18 additional radio stations. So they just began buying up all these radio stations, right? Because it was such a big hit. You know, they took a chance and bought out this bankruptcy and started their own show. So it was kind of cool because each radio station, the company actually chose a woman to play Betty. So depending on what station you listen to, Betty could sound just a little bit different than if you listened to her in a different station. After all, they were multiple women playing the same woman. So it was kind of silly, right? So going on farther, fast forwarding to 1945. So the U.S. Office of War and Information. So those people that tell you what to do during times of war, right? For 4 months, they reached out to the Betty Crocker and they wanted her to do a radio program. Okay, so she did a radio program for 4 months and it was called Our Nation's Rations. So what they did was Betty basically showed you recipes that you could cook with your rations. So people were getting all kinds of new ideas to do with their little bits of food that they had. So almost 7 million copies were sold. And she actually named the book Your Share. So it was how to use your rations to make good, healthy, and tasty meals, which is kind of pretty awesome, right? So this lady, you know, people are wanting to know who she is. She's pretty awesome. She's a great cook. And just remember, she's not a real person at all. Remember, two brothers are behind Betty Crocker, right? These two brothers that bought this milling company. Okay. So Betty Crocker actually won national recognition by the American Red Cross for her outstanding service in the nation's best interest, okay? So she got recognized on a national level for basically helping people to stick to their rations and to be able to make good, healthy meals with their rations, which is pretty awesome. So she definitely proved to be a woman to look up to. So as time changed, you know, things came along like TV, for example. Eventually, Betty actually got her own TV show. So she actually did a show called Betty Crocker's, She did a show with, George Burns and Gracie Allens, okay? So she actually went on the air. This was a woman that they chose to play as Betty Crocker. And all she did was follow some of the Betty Crocker company's recipes, and she taught them how to make a fresh cake. So that was pretty cool. All of, you know, the people that enjoyed that news or that TV channel got to watch her do that. So it was super cool and it was super awesome, right? So she basically became this big TV personality overnight. So she was a really busy woman, okay? Betty was a busy, busy lady. So in the 50s, so not only, you know, has she made this cooking show, you know, she did cooking classes, she did a radio show, she's now on TV doing shows. So I actually did look into who the women were that played Betty Crocker, but I did have some trouble finding some of those names. But I did notice they all wore red, and they all had very short and curled brown hair. So even though Betty was not necessarily one person, she had a look, right? All these women looked the same. So she really had become a household name. It was pretty awesome. And they even went on in the 50s to also do a program, what they called the Search for an All-American Homemaker of Tomorrow. So what this program was if you were a high school senior, you could enter into this competition to actually win scholarship money to move on to college. So you could win this scholarship money by having the most knowledge of cooking, baking, and household management. So kind of interesting, right? So Betty Crocker today is, like I said, definitely a household name. Many people probably have her products in their cupboards right now if they go look. But if you go and you look in your cupboard at your Betty Crocker products, you might just see a red spoon. So around 1954, they actually started to pose Betty with a red spoon. And over the years, the logo has changed a little bit, but the spoon has always remained. So nowadays, a lot of times it says Betty Crocker with her signature with her famous red spoon. So pretty awesome. I super enjoyed looking that up today and learning something new myself as well. So if you enjoyed this video, please give us a like. And always, I'm looking for comments on videos to make, for things that you guys will enjoy.